While we don't know what ligament is injured and to what extent, the main concern on most people's mind is the Liz Frank ligament, to season ending if they require surgery.
Things just got worse for old Chet Holmgren, and I'm going to let you know right now, when I first heard this news that I'm about to share with you guys, I was beyond shocked, and it's still hard for me to believe. We already talked about the injury and what happened. I actually made an entire video about three or 4 days ago, where we just talked about Chet Holmgren and the Crawford Pro-Am game. The game was a complete mess. They had to call it at halftime due to the condensation on the court and blah, 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 blah. If you want to see what happened and you didn't hear about it, go check out that video. That was kind of a big deal, but I would say without a doubt in my mind, the biggest red flag and the biggest deal from that night was Mr. Chet Holmgren getting hurt in the first minute or two of the game by LeBron. Okay, well, my bad. Let me reword that. LeBron didn't hurt him. It was on a fast break where they were going one-on-one. I'm going to show you the video clip right here. I'm sure some of you have seen this on Twitter, Instagram. It's been everywhere. The king himself, he has a ball, he's going to the goal, and he has a one-on-one against Chet Holmgren, and Chet, he winds up landing bad on his foot. It wasn't nothing dirty. In all honesty, I didn't even think Chet was trying that hard to block it or trying too hard on defense. You've also got a lot of people saying and thinking, and I'll talk about this later in the video, that maybe the reason Chet got hurt was because of the condensation on the court, because it was slippery. Like I said, I'll talk about that in just a second, but we gotta get to the nit and gritty that was announced today. Oh yeah, no introduction by the way, I just want to get straight into it. It's simple. If you like basketball content, feel free to subscribe to the channel. I would greatly appreciate it. But as you can see right here, it was stated by Bleacher Report, Thunder fear that Chet Holmgren has suffered ligament damage in his foot and will undergo further options, per Shams. Oh my gosh, man. Why did I say ligament? I just realized I misread that. It's ligament. My bad, my bad. I don't know why I read that as ligament. My brain just wasn't working, but you get the point. Whoa, 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 whoa. Hold on, hold on. I know what you're sitting there saying. Yo, Matt, why is that a big deal? I don't want to say I'm a doctor, surgeon, or anything like that, but I've had 2 ACL surgeries and also some other surgeries on different parts of my body. As a former basketball player myself, I've also had plenty of sprained ankles. Like, come on now, are you really a hooper if you've never had a sprained ankle? I brought that up to say this. That's what everybody originally thought was wrong with Chet Holmgren. It just looked like he tweaked his ankle. Wasn't going to be a big deal. You can see in the clip right here, it is hard to tell, but your first glance is, okay, he's limping. He rolled his ankle. But like I just showed you guys, that is not the injury. It's something totally different. Rolling your ankle, spraining your ankle, whatever you want to call it, not the biggest deal in the world. You can be out from anywhere of 1 week to possibly 3 months. But here's where things get really, and I mean really interesting with this. With this being ligament damage, he could potentially be out for the year, and that's not my words, that's coming from this doctor. What I'm about to show you is some insane analysis, and it's nothing too nerdy. He explains it so perfectly and so well. I never heard this guy. I was like, he's got to have a YouTube channel, and guess what he did? He has 600,000 subscribers, so major shout out to Brian Stutterer. Hope I'm saying that correctly. I'll show his YouTube right here. Feel free to go check out his original 6 or 7 minute video. Matt, you know what to do. Roll the clip.
Chet came up limping after this play, and we could see him not putting any weight on his right foot. The initial concern was for an ankle sprain, but as we could see in slow-mo, there really was no moment where Chet turned his ankle or came down awkwardly landing on LeBron's foot. But if we watch closely, it's this moment where Chet plants his right foot behind him where that injury would have occurred. But right after the ball of the foot plants, we can see Chet's ankle drop medial or go into some hindfoot valgus. What this does when he then pushes is puts an abduction force through the middle of his foot, stressing those foot ligaments.
Oh, wait a minute. As I'm reacting to that, I guess I just can't read today. It doesn't say Brian Stutterer. It says Brian Stutterer. My bad, man. But moving along, I also found this interesting. He pointed out that during the game, he also had his right foot wrapped.
I wonder if he was dealing with something coming into this game. We just saw his right ankle was taped up or wrapped or something here different than his left side.
So, hey, what about that? I find that pretty interesting because maybe he was dealing with something going into the game. I don't know. I don't want to jump the gun on that because throughout my entire high school career, I always got both of my ankles wrapped even when they weren't injured. I don't really think he was dealing with anything going into this Pro-Am game because if he was, more than likely, he wouldn't have forced to play it like it was an NBA Finals game. And now what I'm about to show you is he explains it really well once again on what ligament he could have torn or messed up.
While we don't know what ligament is injured and to what extent, the main concern on most people's mind is the Liz Frank ligament. As Chet steps backwards here and plants, that motion can stress these foot ligaments, potentially leading to a sprain or a tear.
And why I say this is so interesting and intriguing, at least in my humble opinion, is even this guy. He knows so much about it, you can clearly tell, but even he's not sure on what it could be. There's so many small ligaments in your foot, it could be anything, and he explains that. And as I'm watching this, I'm sitting here like, okay, it still doesn't sound major. I mean, it does sound worse than a sprained ankle, but how long is he going to be out? And here's what he had to say.
Prognosis for these nondescript foot ligament injuries can be anywhere from weeks, like we saw with Steph Curry this past postseason, to season-ending if they require surgery. So really, we have no idea the full severity of Chet's injury until we get more information.
You want to talk about an insane timeline? He could literally be out for a week or two to up to the entire season. What is that? That is so mind-boggling to me. It can be something as, oh yeah, you're going to be out for 7 to 10 days, or oh yeah, you're going to be out for 7 to 10 months. Once again, major shout out to this Dr. Dude, Brian Sutter, MD. Go follow him on Twitter. Go follow him on YouTube. I thought it was excellent. Oh yeah, I almost forgot to throw this in there. That doctor did talk about if this happened due to the court being wet. And I'm not even going to throw the clip in there. It's simple. All he said was no, there's a 99% chance it didn't happen because of the court being wet. Moving on though, and as we all know, if you have Twitter, I can say without a shadow of a doubt in my mind that NBA Twitter is beyond weird. I don't even know how you would describe it. It is some of the most hateful people I've ever seen. And I don't want to say hate can be justified, because if you're a hater, you're just a weirdo in my opinion. What are you doing? Waking up, tweeting about other grown men? Go to work, get a hobby, do something else. That's a different topic for a different day, but I'll just show you this tweet right here. Everybody, anytime something bad about Chet Holmgren comes out, everybody just bashes on him so much. For example, after the draft, they say, oh, he's going to get abused in the NBA, and then in the summer league, he'll have 25 points and everybody's quiet. But if he gets hurt in a game, prime example right here, it could be a minor injury, but people are saying, oh yeah, he won't be able to last in the NBA, he's too weak and scrawny. I've already stated this before, I said it in the video 3 or 4 days ago, I'm just going to say it again. Being skinny in the NBA has nothing to do with anything. We've seen skinny players succeed before. This isn't the NFL where you actually need to have meat on your bones. Yes, Holmgren is skinny, but he makes up for it with him being 7 foot. We need to talk about this, and I do want to address it. NBA players playing in meaningless Pro-Am games. Obviously, you're going to have mixed feelings. Some people are going to think it's not a big deal. Others are going to think it's stupid and they shouldn't do it. I, for one, am a person who believes if you're a potential first round, second round NFL draft pick and you play for Ole Miss, Alabama, or Georgia, and you're in a meaningless bowl game that's not the national championship, you would be stupid to play. We saw it happen last year with Matt Corral. He was projected to be a first-round pick, gets hurt in the bowl game for Ole Miss, and he falls in the draft. I think if you're at the college level and you're an NBA prospect, it'd be stupid to play in a meaningless NIT tournament or a bowl game. With that being said, at first I was like, oh yeah, there's no reason to play in the Pro-Am games, but I've somewhat changed my beliefs. These players already got the bag. Look at Paolo Banchero, Chet Holmgren, DeJounte Murray. All these guys playing in the Pro-Am, LeBron James, they got all the money in the world. They got the money. Sure, you could possibly get hurt, but I mean, let's just be real here. Nobody was full out trying in the Pro-Am. I think you could argue and say that practices and 5v5 scrimmages are more intense than these Pro-Am games. And it wasn't like Chet was trying beyond stupid hard. I would label it as a freak accident, and it happens. I, for one, actually thought it was cool of these NBA players to play in these Pro-Am games. So me personally, I don't have a problem with Chet playing in it. He already got the money. Who cares? Let's say he is out for the year. He's still paid. On the flip side, if I was Oklahoma City or I was the Orlando Magic, there's no way I would let Paolo Banchero or Chet Holmgren play in a meaningless Pro-Am game. No way. And I think what you might see happen is some of these NBA teams might put that in their contract. Because I think we saw this before where Patrick Mahomes, he was playing pickup or just shooting around in a basketball gym, and the Chiefs said he can't do that anymore. As a fan and viewer, yeah, we want to see these Pro-Am games, but as a team, if that's your franchise guy, no, you don't want to see him going out there playing and stuff like that. I am very curious. Let me know your thoughts down below. But with all that being said, road to 1 million!